What's up everyone, it's the day of the first double eviction of Big Brother 23. Two house guests will be shown the door tonight and head to the jury house, but who will they be and who will rise to power as the HOH? We've got so much to talk about guys, so welcome to your live feed update. Now of course folks, with it being double eviction day, there's only one question of the day I can ask you folks. Who would you like to see leave the Big Brother house tonight? And it's a two-parter of course. Who would you like to see go first? It's either Xavier or Claire, and then on part two, it's anyone's game. Who would you like to see leave the Big Brother house? Is it going to be Arza? Is it going to be Alyssa? Is it going to be Big D? Will it be Kyland? Will it be Hannah? Will it be Tiffany? Or will it be Xavier? And I'm impressed. And I'm saying Xavier because it's clear he's going to make it through. But I guess if you've said Xavier to the first part, then you can obviously choose a different person for the second half. And if you said Claire for the first half, of course you can choose Xavier for the second half. But folks, let me know which two house guests you would like to see leave the Big Brother house tonight. We started the day with quite a comedic moment. Big D was talking to a few of the house guests and he goes, "Do you know what? I woke up this morning and do you know what my dumbass realised?" He said, "I've got nobody in jury." And do you know what? Listen, right, whilst Big D may not be playing the best game, I love the fact that he can acknowledge that his jury management has been very, very poor and he's done nothing in regards to basically harnessing votes for himself if he makes it to the final two. He's kind of got Brittany, but Brittany's obviously going to vote for Arza. And if anything, we've seen Brittany be very adept at realising what's going on in the house, and she has essentially upped her social game, because when you're in jury you're technically still in the game, and she has shown she is really adept at realising the social aspect of the game. Only if she could have done that while she was in the house, but I do think when it gets down to the wire, Brittany's not going to be voting for who her favourite person is. She will vote for who she thinks has played the best game. So Big D might not even have Brittany, but I thought it was really funny that, you know, because everybody laughed after Big D said that, and he laughed himself, and I like that. I like how people can kind of be a bit self-deprecating and realise that they are not playing the strongest game, so props to Big D for that. Claire continues to go on the campaign trail. Massive respect to her for doing so, because I've said this time and time again about everybody who's realised, or technically realised they're heading out the house. They've kind of gone, "Do you know what? I realise I'm going, but I'm not going to lie down." And the All-Stars last year didn't even do that. They cried and whinged when they were on the block, and I know people will stick up for them and saying they couldn't do much, but same goes for this year. These guys can't do that much, but they're continuing to fight. And I hope I see that for every single person that's left in the game. When it gets down to the wire, when it gets to the final 6, the final 5, the final 4, I hope, even though, because in Big Brother in this day and age, when you are the target, it's very hard to get the target off you, because the house usually votes as a whole. I hope even when that happens though, even because when the Cookout are going to start picking one another off, I hope the person who is the target continues to fight hard, even though they may not stand a chance. They fight, because that's what you do in life, and that's what you have to do in the game. You got to keep going and find that crack, because there's one thing that keeps people going, and it's hope, and that is exactly transparent in the game. And I'm glad that Claire, even though she's realising the chances of me staying are very, very slim, she has got that one thing, and it's called hope, and she's continuing to go, even though it's a tiny fraction of a chance she'll stay in the house, she's still trying. But anyway, she was talking to Kyland at one point, or campaigning to Kyland, and Kyland does as he always does, and he goes on and on and on and on and on. You guys have seen me call him Larry King multiple times, because he becomes the king of the chat show as soon as he gets in a position where he can talk game. He makes it about himself, and he makes it so the person has to sit there and listen for hours on end. And Claire came out afterwards, and it was funny, because I think she was saying to Tiffany, nobody should have to campaign with, yeah, that's right, she said effing campaign, or have to have a one-on-one with Kyland, which I thought was quite funny, because listen, Claire's speaking for the whole audience in that matter, because everybody's thinking it. And listen, y'all have seen me root for Kyland as well, but man, he started to screw up his game after that second HOH, where he had Sarah Beth in his ear, and he just talked and talked and talked and talked and talked. I mean, we saw the start of it in week 2 when he won HOH, and everyone was thinking, you know, this is a good HOH. He's interviewing people, he's getting info, and he got the info that he needed to, but then he continued to press harder and harder and harder on the second one, and there was no need to do it. So that's why people have started to feel like that towards Kyland and started to get a bit annoyed with him. So it's fair enough that Claire said that, but Kyland's social game might actually withstand this wrath that's coming through the double evictions, because he seems to be getting close with Tiffany, if you all know what I mean. If y'all saw the video yesterday and have seen the clips online, then you'll know that he's getting quite close with Tiffany. And equally, he kind of has that relationship with X. Big D really likes him. Ours is not against him. And I don't think Hannah is either. So he's in quite a good position in the Cookout. Now, what kind of sucked quite a lot about that conversation with Claire and Kyland was the fact that he talked and talked and talked and talked to her for 2 hours and kind of kept her in his clutches for so long. And it just was, yeah, it went on and on and on for him to only tell her and Claire to end up crying afterwards, I'm not voting for you to stay, I'm going to vote you out the house. He did not need to talk to her for 2 hours. That's damaging as hell for his social game. Listen, obviously we know Claire's going to be pushing for Tiffany to win the game when she heads to the jury house. But if Kyland wanted any chance in hell of getting Claire's jury vote, then he shouldn't have done that to her. Imagine someone doing that to you, giving you false hope. That's just wrong. I mean, we were talking just, a second ago about how hope is the thing that keeps people going in life and in the game. And for Kyland to do that to her, to give her false hope for 2 hours and then to say, I'm voting you out the house, that is a dick move. I'm not even going to lie there. I'm just critiquing game here. You don't do that. Listen, it's just, at least Tiffany was, even though Tiffany didn't tell her all about the cookout, she was much more straight up than Kyland was there, rambling on for 2 hours. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's not good gameplay. I don't necessarily even think Tiffany's gameplay was good in the fact that she didn't tell Claire every single aspect of the cookout. She kind of just said she's fighting for something bigger than her game. And I feel like Claire was kind of clued in there, but she still didn't confirm that the cookout was a thing. But either way, what Kyland did there was bad gameplay. He's probably lost a jury vote there because Claire did come out saying, I'm done with Kyland. I don't even know if I want to be friends with him after the game. I don't think that's fair to say after what he just did there. I mean, it wasn't a malicious thing, but it was a stupid thing, and it was bad gameplay on his part for sure. Now, Big D and Xavier continue to complain that Tiffany has been selfish for winning HOH this week and all that sort of stuff. And it makes you think, are they actually, if they win HOH tonight, one of the two, are they going to target Tiffany? Because, I mean, we've seen this week X play for Alyssa a lot and campaign for her, and when he was even on the block next to her, and talk about how he wants Big D to go before Alyssa. He wants Arza to go before Alyssa. He wants Tiffany to go before Alyssa. So it makes you question it. Is Xavier going to try and keep Alyssa around if he wins HOH tonight? Maybe the wise thing would be for him not to win HOH tonight and throw that comp. I would imagine that'll be the case, but I would also imagine if Alyssa ends up on the block tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if he's trying to throw another member of the cookout under the bus to try and keep Alyssa around. Now, we've talked about this has been a long discussion all week as well, folks, because I'm splitting it right down the middle. Gameplay-wise, brilliant. Go for it, Xavier. I think that's awesome. On a moral level, and I know I saw people saying yesterday, when you go in the Big Brother house, morals go out the window. That's true when you go in. But when you go in and decide to join a group for a moral, social message, that's when morals can't go out the window. And it becomes a bit more disgusting because when you campaign and saying... And we even saw as well, a couple of weeks back when Alyssa was saying, Claire, you're going to be the last white person in the house. Then Xavier lost his shit over that and started saying, you can't do that, Alyssa, you've got to go. Making it seem like he cares about this social message for him then to go back on it. That's where the moral side of things, and I know people are going to disagree, but that's just how I see it. The moral side of things is a bit touchy because, yes, I agree, morals can go out the window when you go in the house. But when you go in the house and the morals are gone, but then you bring the morals back and then you betray the morals, that's where it doesn't sit right with me. And I know it doesn't sit right with a lot of people. But again, I will stress this because I know it's a touchy topic. Please, people, don't argue in the comments over it. I've seen people kind of sniping at each other. I've seen it less after I called it out the other day after I said, please don't do that. So I'm going to emphasize that again today. Yes, people are going to have different opinions, but please, everyone, respect one another because we're all fans of Big Brother collectively. And whilst people are going to have different opinions on it, just have the talk, have the conversation without being nasty to one another. Please, guys, be kind to one another. Now, I believe Claire's kind of picked up on that kind of feeling that we were just talking about there, about how X hasn't really been playing a clean game, or she believes that anyway. We even saw when her and Tiffany were having the conversation the other day, Tiffany was saying, whilst it's not better in my game, Claire, to send you out the door, I'm standing up for what I believe in. And I realised that some of the other Cookout members wouldn't do the same, and X is one of them in their eyes. So Claire is, I think, just to try and send Tiffany further in the game, because Tiffany's in a rough spot, as we were just discussing there, going at the double tonight. Claire is going to try and throw X under the bus by saying something as simple as, I'm going to be voting for Xavier when I hit the jury. So of course people are going to be going, oh, we need to get X out, he's going to be a jury threat. So that's going to be an interesting one to see if Claire actually goes through with saying that in her eviction speech. So yeah, and it's kind of, it's interesting because Claire's shown that she is not lying down. I think a lot of people have Derek X rocked the boat a little bit by saying that Sarah Beth was playing a Nicole Franzel game, but I'm not surprised in any shape or form that Claire's going to be the next person to rock the boat a bit, because she has proven that she has kind of been here to play this summer, so she is going to try and shake things up there moving forwards, even though she's going to be outside the game. So I would say another props to Derek X for shaking things up, and if Claire does that tonight, props to her as well. And let's see if Xavier can escape the target, because it's going to be interesting if he's going to be trying to throw the HOH so he doesn't have to be the one to take the target at Alyssa. But if the target's going to be painted on him, is he going to start to, the cogs are going to start turning? Is he going to try and win? It's really, there's so many different aspects we can look at tonight, and it's going to be one hell of an exciting night to go into. That is all of your live feed updates for today, folks. I thoroughly hope you all enjoyed watching. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Tiffany has been a good head of household? Do you think that Claire should be evicted tonight? Or do you think that Xavier should be evicted tonight? Moving on to part 2. Who should be evicted after Claire or Xavier? It's going to be Claire. Spoiler, folks. Who do you like to see? Who would you like to see leave the Big Brother house second? And I guess who would you like to see rise to power as the HOH in the double eviction? And vetoes. Talk about vetoes, folks. Alyssa is more than capable of winning a veto if her back is against the wall. She has shown she can do it, so she may do it again tonight and throw a wrench and crack the cookout. It could be one hell of a night, folks. In fact, it not could be. It is going to be one hell of a night. It's the double. Exciting times, folks. Let's go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. But, folks, I'll say as I always do, make sure that you're staying safe, staying positive, and staying healthy out there. And be kind to one another. Alright, folks, I've said that before in this video and I'll say it again. Be kind to one another. But folks, in the meantime, please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. But until your next live feed update, I've been your host, Tom Vasey. Good night.